So it's August, and Las Vegas police have finally released what they say is the comprehensive report on the Mandalay Bay shooting. That was, of course, the deadliest one-man mass killing in the history of this country. 306 days of investigation. What did they find? Well, just about everything except what we wanted to know, which is why. Police said they investigated 2,000 leads, viewed 22,000 hours of videotape, collected 250,000 photographs. After all that, police say they believe the shooter, Stephen Paddock, planned his attack for an entire year. He acted alone and was not connected to any terror group. They also say his finances were not to blame. He was not in any debt. He had lost a lot of money in casinos, though. So what was his motive? Police say they have no idea and that we may never know. And what about the slow response to the shooting from police? Well, Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo says that that is, quote, an internal matter, whatever that means. There may be threads in the story worth following up, and we will. Meanwhile, across America, statues are being toppled. Streets and schools have been renamed. We're in the middle of a revolution, remember, all for the sake of purging the memory of long-ago racism. But in New York, they have a very different plan. They're now honoring a genocidal dictator. Amazing. The city council, led by Jumaane Williams, who's a frequent guest on this show. If you watch, you'll know exactly who he is, running for lieutenant governor of New York right now, just voted to rename a street after the Haitian dictator Jean-Jacques Dessalines. In the early 1800s, Dessalines ordered the genocide of all white people on the island. That included men, women, and children. And he did it. It's what he is best known for. New York City apparently finds that impressive, so impressive, they're going to name a street after him. Seth Barron is associate editor of City Journal. He joins us tonight. Seth, thanks a lot for coming on. Did I overstate that?
No, I think you were right. I mean, you were right. Welcome to year
so what
zero.
Is this about? Exactly.
Well, you know, I think it would make perfect sense to have a statue or a street named after Jean-Jacques Dessalines in Port-au-Prince, the Haitian capital. Right. I don't understand why we're doing it in New York City. I mean, there are a number of Haitians here in Brooklyn,
yes.
Near there. But, this is advocated by the same people, Jumaane Williams and others, who want to tear down the statue of Columbus at Columbus Circle, who want to rename, Stuyvesant High School because Stuyvesant owned slaves. So it's a very extreme kind of measure. I mean, if you recall, a year ago, Jumaane Williams was very much in favor of the Puerto Rican Day Parade honoring Oscar Lopez Rivera. I know you had him on then. Oscar Lopez Rivera
yes.
was a terrorist who bombed a major historic landmark downtown and killed several people, including a cop. But this is who, there he is. This is who the city is now apparently honoring and favoring.
What's so, I mean, there are a couple of interesting things about this, but the first is that multiculturalism isn't real. So we were told that multiculturalism is when lots of cultures kind of coexist happily and all that. This is really destroying one culture and replacing it with the new, a foreign culture. I mean, that appears to be, we're taking your monuments down and putting ours up. I mean, that's kind of what's going on.
Well, I talked to one member of the city council, a Republican, who voted for it, for this street renaming, and he sort of indicated that this was like insurance or a SOP. This way, this will protect Columbus. Like, if we give them this street for after Dessalines, then they won't come after Columbus. And I said, that's like the strategy of feeding your friends to the crocodiles in hopes that they'll eat you last. I think that they'll have Dessalines and take Columbus eventually, when they want to, when they're ready.
But Columbus discovered America, and this is America, so maybe there's a reason we celebrate Columbus. Dessalines, whatever, I'm sure he had good points in addition to being a genocidal nutcase.
Sure.
No one is monochromatic, but, like, what does that have to do with America?
Well,
I mean, nothing, right?
History is complicated. History is complicated, and everybody has their mixed, their mixed story. According to Jumaane Williams, Columbus, Jefferson, Washington, it's all arbitrary why they're honored and Dessalines or Mugabe, I guess, aren't. So
I guess that's next, Mugabe.
Yeah.
Seth Barron, City Journal. That was a great story. Thank you for that very much. We're going to talk to Jumaane Williams, I think, next week about this. Well, Congress is obsessed with combating Russia, but doing almost nothing about an actual threat that we